got too dressed up, huh? But the thing is, I dress like this at home too, so it's kind of how I dress. I'm often the most dressed up person no matter where I go because it's actually more comfortable to me to have like flowing, non-restrictive clothing on. Yeah. Phil gets to do the chime, right? I'm feeling very. The person for whom today may be the most celebratory is Phil. Phil finally gets to become a congregant.
I didn't ask him to do the chime. I thought he just needs a Sunday where he's not in charge of anything.
Ready for the ball.
Yeah. That's a big accomplishment.
Oh.
You're back in the right spot.
Hello, Regina. Good to see you. Good morning. Good to see you, Joe.
Good to see you again. I'm very much looking forward to hearing you play. And I just want to say, good job with the pillars of this. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I love your friend. Who's the violist?
Karen. She'll be, I don't know if she's here today. I know she was traveling up to Wisconsin, but she'll be playing with me soon. Yeah, she'll be back soon. They don't have it. Children love the chance to sit still through a whole service.
Good morning. It is my pleasure this morning to say welcome back to the UUCC for our Sunday morning service. Expected a little round of applause there. It's so great to see everyone, and I'm so glad you're enjoying your time together. I do want to apologize for the wardrobe malfunction. I was trying to really take the board's advice seriously, and so they told us to progress slowly back from Zoom. So I did actually put shorts on, so that's progress. Now you have that image of the last 65 weeks in your mind, right? But also a hybrid service, so this is what a hybrid service looks like. So y'all are just envious out there, you know. But it is so great to see you all, and I know we have had a lot of build up to this day and excitement, and so much thanks to the people who have held us together over these past 65 weeks of being in a virtual experience as a church in so many ways, especially around worship, and such a delight to be able to have everyone back here in this space. To see each other in person. Also recognize that in that excitement, we still have safety protocols to pay attention to, so just be mindful of space this morning. I think one of the phrases that I've heard is ask before you hug. That's probably a good thing to think about, but be mindful of space and masking, and I've seen a lot of fist bumps this morning, so the congregation is doing really well, and we just remind you to keep those things in mind. For socializing after the service, we have some chairs set up outside, and we'd like to invite you to move outside for some social time. We'll call them breakout rooms, but they're right outside the door. And that reminds me, at this time, Phil, would you mind muting everyone? All right, thank you. Doesn't work. Something's not working, Phil. So thank you for being here today. As we get ready for our service and center ourselves, I want to let you know that our flowers this morning are in memory of Bill Moody, to honor Bill and Regina's wedding anniversary on this day, July 4th, 1979. So thank you for sharing and celebrating and remembering with us today, Regina. Center yourselves for worship.
This morning on the 4th of July, we'll be featuring music by American composers. And our prelude is by composer and pianist George Walker, who was born in Washington, D.C. He studied music at Oberlin, Eastman, the Curtis Institute of Music, and in Paris, and taught at Dillard University, Smith College, University of Colorado Boulder, the New School, and Rutgers. He received numerous awards for his music, including being the first African-American composer to receive the Pulitzer Prize for Music. This is his prelude from Prelude and Caprice.
Thank you, Anna. And I would just like to take this opportunity while we can applaud in person and just offer our gratitude to Anna for keeping the music. What a tremendous job that she has done making sure that as even a song that they wrote together, many of the folks together here at the UUCC, making sure that we keep singing here in this space. So thank you, Anna, for all that great work. And it is my pleasure. I've been doing this for over 60 weeks where I invite you all to read something and I never hear you. So it's a pleasure to invite you to read out loud, if you will, with me, the congregational covenant that you'll find in our program. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community. Thus do we covenant with one another. Great to hear your voices. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia. We are proud to be a diverse and non-creedal religion. As a covenantal religion, we believe that we don't have to believe the same in order to treat each other the same, with respect, equity, compassion, and dignity. Our community is based on deeds, not creeds. As Unitarian Universalists, we stand on the side of love, embracing all people regardless of age, color, race, socioeconomic status, physical ability, religious background. We are a welcoming congregation, which means we embrace all. We encourage everybody to wear name tags so that you may know each other better. Board members, I'm not sure if you're wearing your green name tags today. Is that accurate? All right, we're not there. Some of the stuff, we're working on getting back to full speed. But we would like to ask the Board of Trustees if you will stand and be recognized. We'll do this a little bit later in the service as well. So at this time, we would like to recognize guests, and I do want to remind you that we are live streaming the service, so there is a good chance that audio or video would be captured, especially if you're up here on the stage, because we are streaming all of the audio through the sound system as well. So just keep that in mind. But if you are willing, we would like to welcome any guests that are out there. And I know we also have some folks who have been attending on Zoom. This may be your first time actually in person. If you are willing, I would be glad to bring a microphone to you and allow you to introduce yourself. So raise your hand if you're out there. We're going to start over here. All right.
Good morning, everyone. I talk very loudly. I better keep this out here a little bit. I'm here with my wife, Kristen Nelson. My name's Buzz Nelson. Nice to be here. We've attended congregations in both Greensboro, North Carolina, and Fredericksburg, Virginia, when we lived in those two cities. So we've actually come back to Columbia. We both went to USC, and we moved back here, and glad to be back here. And my wife looked you folks up, and we're glad to be here. Yeah, it's really exciting. I'm excited for your congregation to be back in person. I work at Riverbank Zoo, and yeah, pretty cool place to work. But it was nice to see over time as a place that people could go because, of course, you're wide open. See people's smiles come back, see a little return to normalcy. And this is an example of that. So this is really great. Great day for you folks to be coming back too. That's very ideal, perfect day. So that's all I wanted to say. Here's my wife, Christy. She could talk a lot as well.
And, he talks more than I do, but I'm Kristen. Hi, nice to meet you all, and welcome back to everybody. Not a lot to say. I'm glad y'all are open again physically, and We're both animal lovers, so we're looking forward to finding out about y'all's, I think it's called animal ministry. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You will fit right in around here. Back here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Melanie Rosen. I joined this community during the pandemic, so this is my first day here, and it is wonderful to see everyone's face in person. Also, your faces at all, because I'm not technologically oriented, and I really didn't handle the Zoom very well. So mostly it was a blank screen, and I don't know what you saw of me. Hopefully it was not too unflattering. But I'm very excited to be here, so thank you all very much for welcoming me to Columbia.
I'm going to head to the back, past Don Cooper back here, who's keeping things in line. We had some hands. You want to?
Well, hey, this is Pippin and Steve and Alexi and Owena and Kepler. We are back after 5 years. Like Todd and Christian, we came back to Columbia. We've been members, and we're back to being members here. I was a member during the time, but you just never saw me because we were up in Virginia. But we are so happy to be back. We are the children and grandchildren of Bob and Keitha Whitaker. And again, I'm Pippin, and I'll hand it over to Steve to say hi.
Hey everyone, it's good to be back.
Any others? All right, I'm heading that way. Oh, am I going the wrong way? Sorry, Jim.
She lives up with us at the Hermitage, and she's visiting for the first time.
All right. Welcome, Brenda. All right, I'm heading back up to the... Got it. Whew. This is more walking than I ever did on a Sunday.
Hi, everybody. I'm Donna. I'm from the Philadelphia area. I was a member of the Universalist Church down there, or up there. I got to get used to that. I moved down here in September with my folks who are elderly and just kind of trying to take care of them. So I'm glad I found a community that I can be part of. So thank you for welcoming me.
All right, did I get to everyone? Great. Well, join me in our opening words this morning, if you will. Bold and courageous together. The word courage comes from the Latin cor, which means heart. According to poet Mark Nepo, the original use of the word courage means to stand by one's core, a striking concept that reinforces the belief found in almost all traditions that living from the center is what enables us to face whatever life has to offer. To encourage means to hearten, to impart strength and confidence. This is our work as a religious community, to encourage one another, to be bold in engaging the world around us, as well as what scares us internally, to give one another the confidence and heart to live as fully as possible. Thank you. It is my pleasure to light our chalice in person again this morning. And it's going to lead us in our musical meditation.
As Stephen shared from our song this year, we will not stop singing, but as we move back into our in-person services, we'll take a gradual approach in moving back towards singing together as a congregation. So in the coming weeks, I invite you to enjoy listening to performances of instrumental selections and soloists that will be performing. Our musical meditation today is from Diane Gulcazian-Robbie's Piano Sonata No. 4. This is the third movement.
Gulkasian Rabi is a first-generation Armenian-American pianist and composer who was born in Massachusetts. She actually spent much of her musical life as a performing pianist and started composing as a self-taught composer at the age of 40 for her own students.
At this time in our service, we create a space in our community to light candles together, to share significant joys and concerns that you want to share in this congregation. We always have candles available out front, 7 candles. And if you would like to light one, we are beginning today to incorporate this as a part of our service. You're welcome to come up, of course, staying masked, but we have a microphone for you, and you can light a candle and share that joy and concern. Our first candle that we're going to light today is for Bart Gornto. Morgan and Mary asked me to light this candle. I'll let you do it, Mary. Many of you probably know Bert and his wife Karen. They were not members of the UUCC, but they were active in a lot of our activities here. And he died on June 22nd.
He was a gifted massage therapist who even massaged Rudolf Nureyev when he was here with the ballet company sometime in the past.
All right, thank you for sharing. Do we have any others? Come on, Janice.
I am lighting a candle of gratitude. I'm Janice Kleinmore. Facebook reminded me that 3 years ago, yesterday, or 2 days ago, I was in the hospital. That 2 years ago, my husband was in the hospital and eventually passed. And 1 year ago, I was sick, thought it was COVID, turned out to be something else. But now I am healed and I've got a job offer and I'm going back into the classroom as a teacher again.
Jim?
I'd just like to light a candle and ask you to send your good wishes and thoughts and prayers to Jenny. She's woke up very sick this morning, and so she can't be here, but sorely missed. Thank you.
I don't see any other candles, and of course, we always light a final candle to recognize there are some joys, some concerns that are too intimate to share, even in this community. And so for those silent ones, we hold this space. I invite you to a time of silence, to take some deep breaths, enjoy being together in person, but also remembering all that you've heard and felt, and pour your energy and love to those that we've remembered and shared today. Thank you. For our offering, I will remind you that half of our cash collection this month goes to SCREN, the South Carolina Women's Right Empowerment Network, which is a mission to build a movement to advance health, economic well-being, and the rights of South Carolina's women, girls, and their families. If you would like to contribute, just put share the plate and drop it into the offering plate. And I believe we will have a representative next week that will share a little bit about this good work. I invite you to a time of receiving our offering and the ushers to come forward. And Anna's going to introduce our offering song.
Our offertory selection today is The Oneness of Everything by Jim Scott.
Thank you, Anna. Anna is making it difficult for us today, right? If we're working on not singing, to do one of those hymns that's so much a joy to sing together. I could see out there on your faces, you're like humming, and oh, man, we look forward to being able to sing together again. What a beautiful song, The Oneness of Everything. Today we celebrate Independence Day. It is the 4th of July holiday, actually the 4th of July today. It is a celebration of, in history, that there was a time when we had a colony that ran independently. Meanwhile, Britain kept shitting on us endlessly. Essentially, they taxed us relentlessly, and King George turned around and runs the spending spree. He will never set his descendants free, so there will be a revolution in this century. I can do the rest if you want. Many of us have our celebration and history lesson around the time of the Revolution and the 4th of July based on the work of Lin-Manuel Miranda and Ron Cherow's novel or biography of the great work of Alexander Hamilton. This is a day to celebrate a time in our history where we broke free from a tyrant and oppressive enemy who kept us in emotional and social gridlock while threatening not just our way of life, but life itself. And I am talking about the 1700s, not the past year. Thomas Jefferson locked himself away in the Graff House on the southwest corner of Market and 7th Street in Philadelphia. He, along with 4 other committee members, had been charged in June with drafting a document justifying the break politically from Great Britain. The document included 27 grievances against King George III, as well as the beautiful poetry and profound statement on human rights that Jefferson wrote. Although many edits were made, particularly by Benjamin Franklin and John Adams, the poetry that Jefferson emerged out of the Graff House with on paper remains the same today. Hear his words. "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and their happiness." Fortunately, we get to do this every 2 or 4 years as we go and vote and form a new government every time. The Continental Congress reconvened on July 1st. They made revisions and officially adopted the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, later signing it together and taking seriously the responsibility that was argued in the preamble when they wrote, "When a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security." Hear those words, a long train of abuses and usurpations. We've had that experience from a virus that has threatened our right to live and altered our way of life completely. A virus that has taken the lives of so many people that we know and hold close to our hearts. A virus that forced us to shut our doors of this congregation, but shut our doors in businesses and in our homes and impose isolation on ourselves. And now, the UUCC has found it necessary to declare our interdependence. Actually, Deb Matherly and Jonathan White locked themselves away in a house for several days, and they worked on a document that they presented to the reopening committee that was presented to the board. And I use that word purposefully because this is a celebration and a reminder, certainly, of Independence Day, but this is a reminder of our commitment to interdependence. Oftentimes when we focus on the 7th principle, our interdependent web of existence, our energy gets directed to plants and animals, as you will find out very soon. A lot of our energy is directed toward the creatures around us. going to our planet and our ecosystem. Today, I use our focus on interdependence to remind us that we are a part of that web of existence as well. The persons to your right and to your left all are a part of that interdependent web of existence. We have learned over the past year that we are not meant to live in isolation. We are not meant to cut ourselves off from each other. As a matter of fact, we find the truth in the Hebrew story of creation. For the Creator, often at the end of the day, after creating various parts during that 7-day cycle, at the end of the day, the Creator would say, I looked at over all of what was created, and I declare that it is good. And that phrase, it is good, tov ma'ov in the Hebrew, very good, over and over again is the refrain of the day. The very first time the Creator says something is not good is significant. The very first thing that the Creator says is not good, the Creator says it is not good for the human being to be alone. Think about that. The first thing in creation that's not good is isolation, aloneness. And certainly we have affirmed that over this past year and a half, that isolation, loneliness is not good for us. And so we are celebrating today our interdependence on each other. As we gather in this place, we are acknowledging we need each other. And you don't get to pick and choose and look around and say, well, I do need you, but I could do without you. That's not how we function. If you do that, do it quietly, behind your mask. But ultimately, what we are doing today, when our urge to get back into this space, certainly we could have existed on Zoom. We could have sold this building and had Zoom services for the rest of our days at the UUCC. They were working. Phil probably would not want to commit to that, but they were working. They were keeping us together and keeping us focused. But what we are acknowledging and our urge, our eagerness to get back into this space is we are acknowledging and recommitting to our interdependence on each other. We need each other. So many of us have experienced this isolation and loneliness during this time of pandemic and feeling cut off, emotionally hurt from the pain of that isolation. We need each other. This time of pandemic has taught us that going at it alone is no longer an option. We need each other. We value people and human life, and we need to reach out to those who are hurting and struggling and let them know that they are not alone, that we invest here at the UUCC in the emotional, the physical, the social, and spiritual well-being of all toward becoming whole persons. We need each other because we need to stand against the culture of violence, and particularly gun violence in our culture, and commit together to be a beloved community. Today, we declare our interdependence. The UUCC, in our need for each other, needs to be healthy and strong for our chalice to burn brightly. So as this church year begins, we are entrusting a brand new board that just began in their work and committee leaders and staff to do the work of the UUCC so that we can fulfill this commitment to each other and our community around us. We recommit ourselves to our values and our practices that has the power to transform our culture. So may we recommit ourselves to this cause together and rise from the ashes of the pandemic with our UUCC flame burning and transforming our world. I'd like to take this opportunity now to recognize some of our folks and actually install our new board. So if you prepare for that, there is an insert in the program that I'll invite you to in just a few minutes. But before we move to installing the new board, I'd like to just recognize some of the outgoing board members. We recognized our committee leaders last week. Jessica Cross, if you will stand. Jessica has been serving on the board and is finishing up her term. And as you know, if you all know Jessica, she is going to take a break and not do anything for a while. That's not true. She's actually moving into other leadership roles. But let's offer and express our gratitude to Jessica. And then we also have John Logue. I don't believe John is here, but I would invite you to shoot an email or a phone call to John and give him thanks for his great work that he did on the board as well. And then our board president over this past year, can you imagine, your term as board president is in a congregation that is closed as far as the building is concerned. What a task that Rod Brown had in front of him, and we are so thankful for Rod's leadership over this past year, and thankful for the good work in keeping the board active, but also keeping all the work of the UUC going. So we will express our gratitude to Rod a little bit later, and we're going to have a gift for him at the first board meeting, but I would love for you to offer your applause and thanks to them as well. And then we have some new members of the board and some people in new roles. So as I call your name, I'm actually going to ask you to come and stand up front so that everybody can see you. And hopefully you're not dressed in hybrid format like the minister. So Deb Matherly, if you will come up front. Deb is not new to the board, but she is moving into a new role on the board. Deb will be our new president-elect. And so we celebrate Deb moving into that role and the role of president in the next year as Pat finishes her term. Caroline Eastman is also not new to the board, but she is in a new role. So come on up front. Almost said come on down, but there is no Price is Right today, although that would be appropriate for the outgoing finance chair. Caroline has been in an ex officio role as the finance chair and is moving into a regular director position on the board. Jim mentioned that Jenny Verne is not well today, and so Jim let Jenny know that we are installing her into her role as treasurer on the board. Jean Capalbo is also joining the board. So Jean, if you will come up front. And this is a brand new term for Jean as she enters the good work. Laurie's been to one board meeting and jumping in and getting ready to do the work. And then we have one more transition. He is not letting go of the role of the liaison to the CDC from the UUCC, but Emilio is adding the role of board member. So Emilio Perez Jorge, if you will come up front. Offer your thanks and appreciation to our new board members. And if you will remain standing there, you're probably going to need this sheet if y'all have them. I would like to ask the rest of the board, the current board, to join. So Linda Brennison, who is Finance, my mind just went blank for a second. Finance chair, moving from the past president role to the finance chair role. And let's see, do we have any other board members here? I don't see any. Pat Moore moves into the role of president of the board, and so we look forward to her continued leadership and work in our congregation. Please join me, if you will, in installing our new board of trustees. The Protestant reformers emphasized the priesthood of the believer, that all persons have particular gifts for ministry, and that all of us are called to be our brothers and sisters' keepers. These persons who stand before us have been called by the people of this congregation to serve among us, and they have willingly accepted that call. Do you, the duly elected members of the Board of our trustees, having carefully considered the duties and responsibilities of your ministry, promise to serve this congregation with diligence, patience, kindness, and respect?
I do. I recognize that it is both an honor and a responsibility to be entrusted entrusted with this ministry, and I dedicate myself to embodying its principles of Unitarian Universalism and to making our congregation a safe and supportive community for the search of meaning and purpose.
And if you're able, as a congregation, please stand. And if you will read the bold together in our responsive reading. We celebrate Let all of us rededicate ourselves to one another and to our Unitarian Universalist principles and purposes. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We affirm and promote justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. We affirm and promote acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth. We affirm and promote a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We affirm and promote the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process. We affirm and promote the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. We affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. For the commitment of time and energy and talents that these board members bring, I invite you to offer your celebration and support of their good work. Thank you. You can all be seated.
Maston and Betty A. Wilder. Let it be a dance we do, through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance.
As we extinguish our chalice today, we pause and remember the lives of those who were lost. We also remember the way of life that has been altered. And as we go forward together, we declare our interdependence and commitment to keep the UUCC healthy and strong in our endeavor toward transforming ourselves and all of our world around us. We are the UUCC. All right, I will remind you that we are doing our best to make sure that we clear out the sanctuary. So if you would like to have some time of social interaction, just outside the glass doors, we have some chairs set up out there. It's a nice and cool day today. I don't think it is, but maybe if I say that, you'll be convinced of it. But thank you for being here, and we look forward to our continued journey together at the UUCC and celebrating our good work.